Breaking overnight, fire crews quickly rushed to an apartment fire after reports of smoke and flames that happened around 2:15 this morning at the Brentwood Apartments near Zuni in Louisiana. That's in southeast Albuquerque. Crews arrived quickly, found smoke coming from an apartment as you see them there assessing the damage. They had control of the fire in less than 5 minutes. No residents were displaced by the fire. No one was injured, luckily. The cause of the fire is now under investigation.
Past the hour now, if your student doesn't already have access to health care in school, a state lawmaker wants to increase their chances. He's proposing adding more health centers at school districts across New Mexico.
The demand is great all over the state for them.
Senator Gerald Ortiz-Pino is sponsoring a bill asking for $16 million to add more school-based health centers. APS has 7 schools with health clinics. Students can access birth control, behavioral health counseling, and physicals. In the past, parents were not comfortable with the idea of kids getting condoms on campus, but healthcare workers say more parents are supporting those school clinics.
We also make a real effort to get kids to talk to their parents and bring their parents in.
Senator Ortiz-Pino's bill does pass. The state would add 22 more health clinics in schools by the year 2020.
We're uncovering this morning why APS says it's concerned with its new computerized standardized test. The state adopted the system called PARC. It will be used for the first time this spring for students in 3rd to 11th grade. The test keeps track of students' progress each year. It also helps the state grade schools and teachers. APD says it's worried their technology won't be able to support the computer program. The district has been testing the system and says it's facing technical glitches, and some students are struggling with that new format.
We have between 15 and 20,000 computers in a testing environment right now. So that's a lot of systems to touch with not very many people.
The state education department says it will help schools troubleshoot the problems.
We're learning more this morning about why CNM is cutting hundreds of its classes. The college says it's because of low enrollment and not enough money from the state. The school has not said just how many students this move will affect. Last month, CNM warned of possible class cancellations if more students didn't enroll this semester. CNM released a statement yesterday saying it's doing its best to reach out to the affected students to help find them another option here. While many of us are preparing to do our taxes right now, state officials are making sure we all know where the state money is going. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is getting answers from New Mexico's auditor about how transparent things really are. She joins us live in the Newsplex with more on that. Catherine?
That's right, Adam. Every year, the state auditor releases a list of the villages, cities, public departments that miss their audit deadline. Those audits reflect how your tax dollars are spent.
I think the public has a right to know what's being done with their tax dollars. And the audit is the fundamental way we do that in New Mexico. And so if the audit's out, we don't have any transparency or accountability into how our tax dollars are being spent.
New Mexico Auditor Tim Keller says if people have to do their taxes and balance their checkbooks every year, so does the government. Keller tells us audits are important for appropriations and how these cities and counties budget for next year. Plus, he says it's an issue for any agency that does bonding or offers financial guarantees. In order for an agency to get their bonds out, they have to have a clean audit. Keller says sometimes there's a good reason for late audits, a delay or a change in the accounting firm, for example. Other times, there's no good explanation. That's where the at-risk list comes in. Keller says it provides transparency and accountability.
Historically, the list has been very effective at this, and we usually start at about 50 entities every year, and by the end of the year, it's down to 10 or so.
Now, in addition to listing the last time an agency turned in their audit, the at-risk list also indicates whether the audit was in poor order or not. This year, there are 44 agencies on the list, but already 10 have turned in their audit since it was released last week. Back to you, Adam.
Catherine, thanks. And coming up in our next half hour, we're going to tell you about some of the entities who did make the at-risk list.
We checked, and the parents of a 2-year-old who got a hold of a gun and shot them are still behind bars this morning. Both are facing charges of child abuse.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
That I love my family.
Police say the toddler, who is 3, grabbed a loaded .45 caliber Smith & Wesson handgun from his mother's purse at the America's Best Value Motel on Manal near University on Saturday. He fired it, hitting his dad, Justin Reynolds, in the rear end, and his pregnant mom, Monique, Viescas in the arm. Now, she bought the gun just that day. Reynolds is a felon and shouldn't be allowed to be around guns. The boy's younger sister was also in the room, and police say the parents should have known they were putting their kids in danger.
Albuquerque police have arrested a teenager accused of stealing cars while they were warming up. Officers say they believe 16-year-old James Gonzalez is the ringleader in those thefts. They spotted Gonzalez driving a stolen car at a trailer park in 98th near Tower. They also say he had stolen San Juan County DA's badge on him. And investigators are still trying to figure out why he may have had that stolen badge on him.
A state police officer is back on the job this morning after an SUV crashed into his patrol car on a snowy highway, sending him to the hospital. State police officer Mike Willer was helping one driver on a stormy night on I-40 west of Santa Rosa 2 weeks ago when another driver hit him. He hurt his shoulder, chest, broke his nose, and had a severe concussion. The officer woke up in the hospital with no memory of what happened. His captain had to explain it all to him.
He said I was involved in a crash. Of course, now my concern was, did I hurt somebody? Did I kill somebody? And they said, no, they hit you. And then I said, are you sure? I must have asked them, 50 times if it was my fault, and are the other people okay?
Yeah, they were okay, and the driver was cited for reckless driving.
6:07 this morning, a rare collection of Native American art is found stashed inside an old meth house. That collection, worth more than $33,000, is by Native artist Al Momaday. It was found last week inside a house condemned more than 2 years ago. An officer found the art while checking out the home that's now become a place where they say drug users hang out and hide stolen stuff. The officer Googled Momaday's name and found that he was a famous artist who died in 1981. He took the art to the Albuquerque Museum, which appraised it and said it's working to return the art to Momaday's son. It's not known where that art was actually taken from.
Although the city set a deadline for evictions in Tent City, the makeshift neighborhood is still standing this morning. Wednesday, an attorney filed a restraining order against the city to keep it from evicting the campers at First and Iron. We spoke with that attorney late last night, who said the judge has not made a decision just yet. If the judge agrees with the city, campers would have 30 days to clear out.
New video shows the final moments before a small plane hit a television tower. That plane had taken off from Carlsbad. Watch as the flash of light sort of erupts here on the horizon when the plane hits the tower. There it is. The crash turned out to be deadly, killing the plane's pilot, a Lubbock doctor, knocking KCBD Channel 11 off the air. And NTSB officials will now take about a week to create a preliminary report on the crash. They say it may take more than a year, though, to figure out exactly what happened.
A U.S. Coast Guardsman is accused of shooting 2 colleagues, including a police officer. Police say 31-year-old Adrian Loya shot 2 female Coast Guard officers, killing one of them and wounding the other. Loya is also accused of setting a car on fire to hamper police, planting fake bombs, and wounding a police officer. Loya pleaded not guilty and will now undergo a mental health examination.